Hey guys, have a 2002 Camaro door that was hanging a little bit low. You know, it's a heavy door. People like to lean on it because it's just a little car when they're getting out. It's a fiberglass door, and I already took off the door. You know, didn't want to bore your time with that. However, this is what's causing it, is this crack in the fiberglass right here. Goes up all the way down below here. And on the inside, there is this supporting member right down here. It's kind of like a buttress in a building, and it has a crack through it as well. So to remedy that, we have a piece of 16 gauge steel to reinforce the new Bondo that we're going to be putting on. The fiberglass repair kit, about 12 bucks at Menards, AutoZone. This 6x18 piece is going to cost you about $7 at Menards or similar hardware store, depending on where you are. Now, having the door off, I am going to make a backing, as I said, for this. Now, clearly this is less than 6 inches, especially right here, between here and here, and then we have these supporting angles here. So I am going to line this up, take a few measurements to go ahead and mark it for cutting with my die grinder. Now I have my backing bracket made. I've got holes drilled to get the support, get those in there nice and tight. You don't want the holes too big because that will give it wiggle room. No matter how tight you get those nuts, it could still not be tight enough. Now I notice that up here there's a bit of cracking in the paint, could also be in the fiberglass, so I'm going to cut one to go right here as well between the rivet that holds the inside steel reinforcement for the safety device in and this gusset right here. So about right here I'm going to cut a piece for that, drill the holes, and then set it like that. And then once I know that I've got everything set properly, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing the fiberglass. So we had some severe storms pop up and roll through last night. Wasn't able to complete anything outside, so I did the work inside. However, the lighting wasn't very good, so I had to do these things inside. We had talked about cutting the templates, setting it up against here, marking with a sharp on the inside to cut the holes for these bolts top and bottom. And we're using 2 plates not only for the cracking and the possible cracking up here, but also because you can't add a spacer down here and not have one up here, else your door is going to be all kind of wonkied, and you don't need to have that at all. Got that set, went ahead and did the fiberglass matting. Instructions recommend 2 layers. Of course, you know, that's for body work, but you know, we're trying to regain the strength lost from the crack on this door. And in addition to that, we added the fiberglass resin itself with the hardener mixed into it, into the crack itself, which came up around here and up to here. And that's what was causing the door as a whole to shift downward away from the hinge. And I went ahead and placed it directly on here. Put on the 2 soaked mats, one up to the other, onto this, laid it up. Now obviously, because of the added thickness with the reinforcing plate and the fiberglass, we've added thickness to the door as a whole. We've added to the length. So we're going to take a measurement of this, and then we're going to shift the hinges themselves to allow for the extra distance by marking here and then sliding the hinges as far forward as we can if we can't move it the entire thickness, which looks like it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to mark it, slide it forward, because if we don't do this, we're going to end up with a gap here and a shrinkage and gap here in the back of the door, and it's going to really take away from the overall appearance. It's going to be ugly, it's not going to be right, and nobody wants to have that. Now that we have these hinges slid forward the proper distance, it's time to mount the door. Be sure to feed the wire harness in and set the hinges into an accessible position before you slide the door into place. Now here's something important. When you're reattaching the hinges in the door, you want to make sure that you use a flat bar or a breaker bar to get in there and really torque those down, because otherwise you're just going to recreate the problem later by allowing too much flex. Now, because I don't have a 3/8 breaker bar that will fit into that opening, I am actually using my tool for changing my serpentine belt. If you don't have a 3/8 breaker bar or a 1/2-inch breaker bar that will fit in there, then what you want to do is go ahead and use this. It's about a $20 tool from AutoZone. But once we have those in there, we have the door torqued down. I'm going to apply the same technique to the hinges, and I'll be able to rewire it. And now, with everything torqued down, everything lined up and spaced properly, this is what you have. A car door that does not pop up when you close it, does not sag down when you open it. And all you need is a sign that says, "Hey man, do not lean on this door." Let's go ahead and get this rewired, and we're good to go. When you're reassembling, here's something very important. On cars such as this 2002 Camaro, you often find the same style connector for both your power lock and your power window. See if I can pull this off one-handed so I can let you see precisely what I'm talking about. This was at one time, not from me, was put on in the wrong order. See, it's the same switch. It's the same switch dial, just a different printing on the button itself. Easiest way to do it, your power locks are very basic, you know, just a couple wires. Your hot, your reverse, and your ground. So you want to make sure that's getting clicked onto the correct one. Again with the one-handed. Snap that in there. And with this one. So the power window and the power lock all set up. Let me just slide that back in. Voila. And now the door on this Camaro is all fixed, set to go, and smooth shut. Smooth lines. Everything is lining up great. The door doesn't pop down as it did before. Probably what happened, somebody using the handle to get out of the car, pushing down on the door, or leaning in on the door, which caused the door to pop down, breaking that fiberglass. You could do this with any fiberglass door because, like I said before, it's a steel frame, fiberglass shell, plastic shell. Putting in that fiberglass resin and hardener behind here, behind the steel plate we put to squeeze it together, helps keep that from cracking anymore. It fills in that gap. The 2 layers of fiberglass helping repair it, basically gluing it back together. And what we've done here, we have saved anywhere from $100 to $300 depending on what kind of boneyard you go to, or if you go and order one from GM, probably you're going to pay more than, or you know, whoever you order the car from. If you got a Lamborghini with fiberglass doors and you try to do a quick fix, well, God help you if you want to order a new door. I don't know if they have fiberglass doors or not, but if you're on a budget, if you're in a tight spot and you just want to get this fixed to just carry it over until tax time when you can order a new door and not have to pay for getting the door primed, ordered, painted, the whole deal. So we've got the original finish, all clean, looking great, and that's how you do it. Even though I had to do this over the course of 2 days because of weather, we're actually looking at about I'd say about a 3-hour job, including the time for curing, which did give me time to change the O2 sensor on this. So that's it in a nutshell, fixing a fiberglass door. Good luck to you. See you next time.